When Gabriel Thompson walked into his den searching for his laptop, which he had carelessly left behind, he heard something that froze him to the core, a tiny, scared sob coming from inside the closet. He yanked open the door, flicked on the light, and there, curled up between his shoes, trembling, with bruises on her arms, was his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, and what she whispered shattered him. "Please, don't tell Brittany I'm here." But to understand how a 6-year-old girl ends up hiding in a closet, paralyzed with fear, begging her own father not to tell her stepmother he found her, you first have to know who Lily Thompson was. 6 years old, shoulder-length dark hair, big brown eyes that once sparkled with curiosity, but now always seemed afraid, the only child of Gabriel Thompson. And exactly 1 year ago, when she was just 5, she lost her mother. Her name was Anna, 36 years old, an architect. She designed beautiful homes and dreamed of building one for her own family. But she never got the chance because 1 year ago, during a routine checkup, they found something. Stage 4 breast cancer. The doctors gave her 6 months, maybe a year with treatment. Anna fought. For 8 months, chemotherapy, radiation, pain that made her cry in silence, so Lily wouldn't hear. But the cancer won. She died at home, in the bed she shared with Gabriel, with Lily asleep in the next room. She was only 36. Gabriel was devastated. He didn't just lose his wife, he lost his best friend, the mother of his child, the woman who knew him better than anyone else. And the pain was so deep, so overwhelming, that he did something he would later regret for the rest of his life. He distanced himself from Lily. Not physically, he still lived in the same house, but emotionally, he disappeared. Because every time he looked at Lily, he saw Anna, the same eyes, the same smile, the same way she tilted her head when she asked a question, and it hurt so much that Gabriel couldn't bear it. So, he dove into his work. Gabriel Thompson owned Taste of Home, a chain of 15 restaurants across 3 states, raking in $95 million a year. And during the 6 months after Anna's death, Gabriel worked like a man possessed, 14 hours a day, sometimes 16, opening new restaurants, closing deals, reviewing menus, interviewing chefs, anything to avoid being home, to avoid seeing Anna's photos on the walls, to avoid hearing the silence where there once was laughter and Lily was left alone. Well, not completely alone. She had nannies, 4 different ones in 6 months, because Gabriel hired them, and then forgot about them. He didn't ask how Lily was doing. He didn't check if she was eating, if she was sleeping, if she was crying at night, calling for her mom. He just paid them and kept working. And Lily, at 5 years old, learned something terrible. She learned that she was alone, that her mom was gone forever, and that her dad, even though he was alive, was gone too, emotionally. And that pain, for a 5-year-old girl, was unbearable. Until she met Brittany. It was a social event, a restaurant opening, Taste of Home number 14, a premium location downtown. Gabriel was there out of obligation, fake smile, expensive suit, empty inside, and Brittany Smith was there too, 29 years old, pretty, long brown hair, elegant black dress, warm smile. She worked in public relations for the group that had built the building where the restaurant was located, and when she saw Gabriel alone in a corner, she approached him. "Hi, you look like you'd rather be anywhere else." Gabriel looked at her, surprised by her honesty. "Is it that obvious?" Brittany smiled, only to someone who would also rather be somewhere else. They talked for 20 minutes. Brittany didn't ask about business, she asked about him. "Are you okay?" "Really?" Gabriel lied. "Yeah." But Brittany saw through the lie. "I don't think so. You have the eyes of someone who's carrying a lot of weight." And Gabriel, surprised by the empathy of a stranger. opened up. He told her about Anna, about the cancer, about the death, about Lily, about the emptiness. Not everything, but enough. And Brittany listened, without judging, without offering cheap solutions, just listened. And when the event ended, they exchanged numbers. Just in case you need to talk to someone who understands, Brittany said. Gabriel didn't know that Brittany was lying, that she didn't understand anything, that she had never lost anyone, that her empathy was acted, calculated. Because Brittany Smith had researched Gabriel Thompson before the event, she knew who he was, how much he was worth, that he was recently widowed, vulnerable, and she saw an opportunity. They saw each other again, for coffee. A week later, Brittany asked about Lily, how the little girl was doing. Gabriel admitted, I don't know. I work a lot. I barely see her. Brittany put on a concerned face. That must be hard, for both of you. Gabriel nodded. I don't know how to be a dad without Anna. She was the good one. I just worked. Brittany touched his hand. You're not a bad father. You're just in pain. It's normal. And Gabriel, starving for that comfort, for that absolution, clung to Brittany. They kept seeing each other with dinners, movies, walks. Brittany was different. She didn't demand anything. She didn't pressure him. She was just there. And Gabriel, little by little, started to feel something he hadn't felt since Anna died. Something akin to happiness. 4 months after they met, Gabriel introduced Brittany to Lily. The little girl was 5.5. She still missed her mom. She still cried at night. She still asked, Daddy, when is Mommy coming back? And Gabriel had to explain, one more time, that Mommy wasn't coming back, that she was in heaven, that she would always love her, but she couldn't return. So when Gabriel said, Lily, I want you to meet someone special, the little girl felt fear. Brittany walked into the living room, smiling. Hi, Lily. Your dad has told me so much about you. Lily looked at her, in silence, evaluating. And then she asked something that broke Gabriel's heart. Are you the new mum? Brittany knelt down, put on a tender face. No, honey. No one can replace your mom. But I'd like to be your friend if you want. Lily didn't answer. She just looked at her father, seeking permission. Gabriel nodded. It's okay, Princess. Brittany's good. And Lily, who trusted her father more than anyone in the world, decided to trust Brittany too. A fatal mistake. Say, for the next 2 months, Brittany acted perfectly. She visited often, played with Lily, read her stories, made her snacks. And Lily, hungry for attention, for affection, started to open up, to smile when Brittany arrived, to call her Brit, to ask her, Brit, are you coming tomorrow? And Gabriel saw this and thought, I did the right thing. Lily needed a mother figure. Brittany is perfect. 6 months after they met, Gabriel proposed to Brittany. It was fast, too fast, barely 1 year after Anna's death, but Gabriel justified it. Anna would want me to be happy, for Lily to have a mom, so I wouldn't be alone for the rest of my life. Brittany said yes, with fake tears in her eyes, a smile that didn't reach her soul. And Gabriel, blinded by the need not to be alone, didn't see the warning signs. They got married 2 months later. A small ceremony, 30 guests. Anna was the flower girl, in a white dress Brittany had chosen. She smiled in the photos because her dad had told her, now you're going to have a mom again. Aren't you happy? And Anna nodded, because she wanted her dad to be happy, even though she wasn't quite sure how she felt. If you've ever made an important decision too quickly and regretted it later, leave a comment, because what happened in the following months could happen to anyone who doesn't pay attention to the signs. The first 2 weeks after the wedding were normal. Brittany kept up the act, making Anna breakfast, taking her to school, asking about her day, and Anna started to relax, thinking maybe everything would be okay. Maybe Britt did like her. The first change happened exactly 15 days after the wedding. Gabriel had to travel to Dallas, a meeting with potential investors to open his 16th Taste of Home restaurant. 2 days. He asked Brittany, "Are you okay staying alone with Anna?" Brittany smiled. "Of course, honey. We're family now." Gabriel kissed Anna on the forehead. "Be good, sweetie. I'll be back in 2 days." Anna nodded, and then asked, "Dad, promise me?" Gabriel didn't understand. "Promise you what, sweetheart?" "That you'll come back." Gabriel laughed. "Of course I'll come back. I always come back." Anna seemed like she wanted to say something else, but she stayed quiet. Gabriel left, and the door closed, and Anna turned to Brittany and saw something that froze her to the bone. Brittany's smile had vanished. Her eyes, which seconds before had seemed warm, were now cold, hard, and when she spoke, her voice was different. "He's gone. Good. Now listen closely, kid. While your father's away, there are rules. Rule number 1, you do what I say, no questions asked. Rule number 2, no crying. I hate when kids cry. Rule number 3, you don't tell your father anything. Nothing that happens when he's not here. Got it?" Anna froze. She didn't understand what had happened. Why Britt, who had been so nice, now seemed like a different person. She managed to ask in a small voice, "Why?" Brittany leaned down, her face inches from Anna's. "Because I don't like you. I never liked you. I was just acting so your father would marry me. But now that I'm married, I don't have to keep acting, at least not when he's not here. So, you're going to be a good, quiet girl, and you're not going to cause any trouble. Because if you tell your father anything, he won't believe you. He'll believe me, always. Because I make him happy. You just remind him of his dead wife." And in that moment, Anna's world crumbled. That night, Brittany didn't give her dinner. Anna asked, "Brittany, can I have dinner?" Brittany responded coldly, "Not tonight. Consider it punishment for existing." Anna didn't understand, but she was hungry and scared. So she went to her room and cried in silence, with her face buried in the pillow, because Brittany had said, "I hate when kids cry." The next 2 days were confusing and terrifying. Brittany ignored her. Sometimes she yelled at her for the smallest things. Anna spilled juice at breakfast. An accident. Brittany exploded. "You are such a clumsy moron. Clean that up now." Anna cleaned it up with trembling hands, apologizing. "Sorry, Brittany. I'm so sorry." Brittany didn't respond, just glared at her. When Gabriel returned 2 days later, he found Brittany smiling. "How did it go, honey?" And Anna, quiet, quieter than normal. He asked, "Anna, how were you?" The little girl looked at Brittany, who was staring at her intently, and she responded, "Good, Dad." Gabriel smiled. "That's great. Brittany took good care of you." Anna didn't say anything else because she remembered the words, "He won't believe you. He'll believe me. Always." And that's how the pattern began. Every time Gabriel traveled, which was 2 or 3 times a week, Brittany took off the mask. She yelled, she punished, she ignored. And when Gabriel came back, she acted like the perfect stepmother. And Anna learned to stay quiet because she was scared and because she thought no one would believe her. The abuse escalated, slowly. At first it was just yelling, insults. "You're annoying, you're ugly, nobody likes you." Words that wounded Anna's soul. But then Brittany invented punishments. The first physical punishment happened 1 month after the wedding. Anna was playing in the living room with her dolls, making voices, inventing stories. Brittany was watching TV, and the noise bothered her. She stood up, walked toward Anna, and yelled, "Shut up!" Anna got scared. "Sorry." Brittany grabbed her arm, hard. Her fingers left marks, and she dragged her. Anna asked, "Where are we going?" Brittany didn't respond. She opened the basement door and pushed Anna down the stairs. Anna fell. She hit her knee, her elbow. It hurt. She cried. Brittany came down and said something that terrified Anna. "You're staying here for 2 hours. No light, no noise. Learn to be quiet." and she closed the door. The basement went black, completely black. Anna couldn't see her hand in front of her face, and she was scared, very scared, because she was little, and she was alone, and it was dark. She cried, she screamed, "Dad, Mom, someone!" But no one came, because Gabriel was in Austin, and Brittany was upstairs, watching TV, ignoring the screams. 2 hours later, Brittany opened the door. Anna was curled up in a corner, trembling, with red eyes from crying so much. Brittany looked at her. "Did you learn?" Anna nodded, desperate. "Yes, anything, just don't leave me there again." Brittany smiled. "Good, then you know. If you make noise, you go back to the basement, got it?" Anna nodded again. And that was the beginning of Anna's real hell. The next few months were a routine of terror. Every time Gabriel traveled, Brittany invented new punishments, new rules, new ways to make Anna scared. And the girl, at only 6 years old, learned to survive. But surviving for a little girl shouldn't mean hiding, staying quiet, becoming invisible. And that was exactly what Anna was learning. The punishments varied depending on Brittany's mood. If Anna talked too much, to the basement, 2 hours, sometimes 3, in total darkness. If Anna didn't finish her food quickly, no dessert, sometimes no dinner at all. If Anna asked about her father, Brittany yelled, "Don't mention your father to me, he's busy. He doesn't have time for annoying girls like you." If Anna cried, the worst punishment. Brittany locked her in the guest bathroom, no windows, with the light off, and she left her there until she stopped crying. The problem was, Anna couldn't stop crying, because she was scared. So sometimes she spent 4 or 5 hours there, until exhaustion overcame her, and she fell asleep on the floor. And when Gabriel returned home, Brittany would put on a show. Lily was so good, wasn't she, Lily? And Lily would nod, because she'd learned that if she didn't nod, the punishment afterward would be worse. But there was a change that Gabriel should have noticed, and he didn't. Lily stopped talking. Not all at once. It was gradual. First, she stopped speaking in complete sentences. Then, she'd only respond with single words. Yes, no, okay. And finally, exactly 4 months ago, she stopped talking altogether. The last day Lily spoke was a Tuesday. Brittany had punished her the night before, 3 hours in the basement. Because Lily had asked, "Brittany, can I call my dad?" That question infuriated Brittany. The answer is no, to the basement. And Lily went down, trembling, because she already knew what was coming. The darkness, the cold, the fear, the solitude. The next day Gabriel returned from a trip. He found Lily sitting on her bed, silent. "Good morning, Princess." Lily looked at him, but didn't respond. Gabriel tried again. "Lily, are you okay?" Silence. Gabriel asked, "Brittany, is she sick?" Brittany, with a perfectly acted, worried face, said, "I don't know, honey. She's been very quiet. Maybe she's sad. You know, the anniversary of Anna's death was a week ago. Maybe she's missing her a lot." And Gabriel felt terrible. Of course, the anniversary. How could he have forgotten? My poor girl. And he hugged Lily. "You miss your mom, don't you?" Lily didn't respond, but she didn't pull away either. She just stood there, rigid, as if she'd forgotten how to receive a hug. Gabriel thought it was grief. He didn't suspect anything else. Weeks passed. Lily still wasn't talking. Gabriel became a little worried. He asked Brittany, "Should we take her to the doctor?" Brittany replied, "I think she just needs time, honey. It's a phase. Children sometimes shut down when they're processing strong emotions. Give her space." And Gabriel, who knew nothing about child psychology, trusted Brittany again. But there was someone who did notice and who was worried. Mrs. Carol Johnson, 52 years old. She'd been teaching first grade for 28 years at Oakwood Elementary, where Lily went to school, and she'd seen a lot of children. Shy, extroverted, hyperactive, quiet. But she'd never seen a transformation like Lily Thompson's. 8 months ago, at the beginning of the school year, Lily participated in class. She raised her hand, asked questions, played with her. And the classmates at recess, she drew flowers and rainbows. Now, Lily didn't speak, not a single word, in 4 months. She didn't raise her hand, she didn't play. She sat alone in a corner of the playground during recess, and her drawings had changed. No more flowers. Now she drew dark boxes, small figures inside. And when Mrs. Johnson asked her, "Lily, what is this?" the girl just looked at her with frightened eyes and didn't answer. The teacher tried to talk to Lily. "Lily, honey, are you okay? You can tell me anything." Lily looked at her. She wanted to speak. You could see it in her eyes, but she couldn't, because Brittany had said, "If you tell anyone anything, it'll be worse for you. Much worse." And Lily believed her. So Mrs. Johnson did something that should have changed everything. She called Gabriel. It was a Friday, 3 in the afternoon. Gabriel was in a meeting reviewing quarterly numbers. He saw the call. "Oakwood. Elementary," he answered. "Hello?" Mrs. Johnson spoke. "Mr. Thompson, I need to speak with you about Lily. It's urgent." Gabriel asked, "Is she okay? Did something happen? Is she physically all right?" "Physically, she's fine, but emotionally, no. Lily hasn't spoken in 4 months, sir. Not a single word. And her drawings are concerning. I need you to come in for a meeting. This week, if possible." Gabriel was alarmed. "Of course. When? Do you have time, Monday at 4? Gabriel checked his calendar. He had a trip to Chicago, an important meeting he could cancel, he should cancel. But the meeting was to close an $8 million deal, and he thought, "I can talk to the teacher later, Tuesday when I get back." He said, "Mrs. Johnson, I can't make it on Monday. How about Wednesday?" The teacher hesitated. "I suppose it can wait 5 days. But Mr. Thompson, this is important." Gabriel assured her, "I understand. I'll see you Wednesday." But Wednesday never came, because when Gabriel got home that Friday, Brittany intercepted. She kissed him, asked about his day, poured him a glass of wine, and when he mentioned Lily's teacher called, "She says she isn't talking." Brittany put on a surprised face. "She hasn't said anything to me either, but I think she's exaggerating. Lily talks to me. Maybe she's just shy at school." Gabriel asked, "Are you sure?" Brittany nodded. "Completely. You know how some teachers are. They dramatize everything." And Gabriel, tired from work, wanting to believe everything was okay, accepted the explanation. And when Wednesday came, he completely forgot about the meeting, because Brittany had told him that morning, "Honey, I forgot to tell you." The teacher cancelled. She said it wasn't necessary anymore. A lie. But Gabriel didn't know. Mrs. Johnson waited. That Wednesday at 4 in the afternoon, in her classroom. Gabriel never showed up. She called, left a message. Gabriel, occupied in another meeting, didn't hear the message until 9 at night, and by then he was already home, with Brittany telling him, "You've already had dinner. You're tired. You should rest." And Gabriel, exhausted, forgot to return the call. He thought, "I'll do it tomorrow." But tomorrow turned into next week, and next week into next month. And Mrs. Johnson, frustrated, thought, "If the parents aren't interested, what can I do?" A mistake. Because it wasn't that Gabriel wasn't interested, it was that Brittany manipulated him, distracted him, deceived him. And Gabriel, trusting his wife blindly, didn't question anything. Meanwhile, Lily's hell got worse, because Brittany discovered something. That yelling wasn't enough, that locking her in the basement wasn't enough. She needed Lily to be completely terrified, completely controlled. And she found a way. Threats. Not just, "If you tell your father, I'll punish you." Now it was, "If you tell your father, I'll kill you. If you make a noise and anyone finds out, you'll disappear. If you don't obey, I'll take you far away, and your father will never find you." And Lily, at 6 years old, didn't know that those threats were empty. She didn't know that Brittany couldn't do that to her without consequences. To Lily, Brittany was all-powerful, because her father believed Brittany, not her. So, if Brittany said she would, kill her, Lily thought. She can do it, and no one's going to save me. So, Lily developed a survival strategy. Hiding. It started because one day, Brittany was especially furious. Lily didn't know why. Sometimes there was no reason. Brittany simply woke up in a bad mood. And that day, Lily heard Brittany shouting her name from the kitchen. "Lily, get in here, now!" And Lily, who had already learned that when Brittany yelled like that, punishment was coming, had an idea. What if she can't find me? She ran to her room. She looked for a place, and she scrambled under the bed. Brittany charged upstairs. "Lily, where are you?" She stormed into Lily's room, glanced around, didn't see the little girl, checked the bathroom, the closet, but not under the bed, and after 5 long minutes of searching, Brittany was frustrated. She stomped back downstairs, and Lily heard the front door slam shut. Brittany had left, probably to grab groceries or meet up with friends. Lily crawled out, trembling, but also something else, relieved, because hiding had worked. And from that day on, whenever Brittany got angry, Lily would hide. She developed hiding spots all over the house, places where Brittany wouldn't think to look, under her bed, behind the boxes in the basement, even though she was terrified to go down there alone, in the guest room closet, in the powder room behind the door, and her favorite, in her father's closet, amongst his shoes, where she could smell him, expensive cologne, safety, the times when Daddy was around. And every time she hid there in her father's closet, Lily imagined he'd come home, that he'd open the closet, that he'd find her and he'd ask, "What are you doing here, princess?" And she'd tell him the truth, everything, about Brittany, about the punishments, about the fear. And Daddy would save her. But that was just a fantasy, because Gabriel never opened that closet when he was home. Brittany organized his clothes. And when Gabriel needed something, he'd just say, "Brittany, where's my blue shirt?" And she'd fetch it for him. So Lily hid and waited. And when Brittany calmed down or forgot to look for her, Lily would come out, and life would continue, in that sick cycle of abuse and survival, until that day, a Tuesday, 11 a.m., Gabriel was at Taste of Home, headquarters, reviewing reports, when he suddenly remembered, "I forgot my laptop at home." He needed it for a presentation at 2 p.m. All the information was on there. He couldn't use another computer. He called his assistant. "I'm going home real quick. I'll be back in an hour." He drove home. 20 minutes. He arrived, opened the door with his key. The house was silent. Brittany must be upstairs, he thought. He walked upstairs, entered there. Bedroom, searched for the laptop. It wasn't on the desk. Where did I leave it? He checked the dresser. Nothing. And then he remembered. I was working in bed last night. Maybe I left it in the closet when I put away some papers. He walked to his closet, opened the doors, and searched on the top shelf. It wasn't there. He checked down low, amongst his shoes, and then he heard something that froze him to the bone. A sob, small, scared, muffled. It was coming from inside the closet, amongst his shoes. Gabriel crouched down, moved the shoes, and what he saw destroyed him. Lily, his 6-year-old daughter, curled up in a ball, trembling, her arms wrapped around her knees, and bruises, dark bruises on her thin arms, recent, old, different shades, some yellowish, others purple, and her eyes, God, her eyes were red, swollen, filled with pure terror. Gabriel froze for 2 seconds that felt like an eternity. And then his brain processed, his daughter hiding in his closet with bruises, trembling, crying. Lily. Gabriel whispered her name, his voice cracking. "Lily, what are you doing here?" The little girl looked up at him, and what she did was worse than any scream. She recoiled, shrunk even smaller, as if she was afraid of him, her own father, and then she whispered, her voice so tiny Gabriel barely heard it. Words that shattered him. "Please, don't tell Brittany you found me." Gabriel felt the world stop, the air disappear. Everything he thought was true revealed to be a lie. His daughter, his little Lily, was so afraid that she was begging her own father not to tell Brittany he had found her. What kind of hell had his daughter been living in to get to this point? Gabriel reached out his hand, slowly, as if Lily was a frightened animal that might run at any moment. "Lily, honey, I'm not going to tell Brittany anything, I promise, but I need you to come out of there. Please." Lily was staring at him, wanting to believe him, but too afraid to move. Gabriel insisted, "I promise you're safe with me. No one's going to hurt you. It's a please come out." Lily, trembling, started to move, slowly, crawling out of the closet. Gabriel offered her his hand. Lily looked at it, hesitated, and finally took it. Her hand was so small, so cold, trembling. Gabriel helped her up, and when Lily was standing in front of him, Gabriel examined her, and what he saw broke his soul. Lily was thinner, much thinner than he remembered. Her cheeks, which used to be round, were now hollow. She had dark circles under her eyes, deep, dark, as if she hadn't slept well in months. Her clothes were too big, and the bruises. God, the bruises were on both arms, in different stages of healing, which meant they weren't from one single incident. They were cumulative, weeks, maybe months. Gabriel felt nauseous and rage and horror all at the same time. "Lily, what happened to you? Who did this to you?" Lily looked down, didn't answer. Gabriel knelt down, to be at her level. "Honey, look at me. Who did this to you? Did you fall?" She still didn't respond. Gabriel noticed something else. Lily was trembling, not from the cold, from fear. She was afraid to speak, and then Gabriel remembered Lily's words. "Please don't tell Brittany you found me." And everything clicked into place. Brittany. Gabriel felt the rage explode in his chest. Gating! But he controlled himself, because Lily was looking at him with eyes full of terror, and if he exploded now, he'd scare her even more. So he spoke in the calmest voice he could muster. "Lily, it was Brittany. She did this to you." The little girl looked at him, with tears starting to fall, and barely nodded. Yes. And with that yes, Gabriel's world shattered. His wife, the woman he had trusted, the woman he had brought into his home, had done this to his daughter. For how long? How many months had he been blind? How many signs had he ignored? How many times had Lily tried to tell him, and he hadn't listened? He felt sick, with rage, with guilt, with horror. But before he confronted Brittany, he needed to make sure Lily was okay. "Lily, where's Brittany now?" Lily whispered. "She left, to the grocery store." "How long ago?" Lily looked at the clock on the bedroom wall. "Half an hour. Then they had time." Brittany typically took an hour at the grocery store. Gabriel had 30 minutes to process, to think, to decide what to do. He sat on the bed, took Lily's hands, carefully, so as not to touch the bruises, and spoke. "Lily, I need you to tell me everything, what Brittany has done to you. I know you're scared, but I promise you she's never going to touch you again. Never. But I need to know, so I can protect you." Lily looked at him, her eyes filled with tears. And then, for the first time in 4 months, Lily spoke. Her voice was broken, small, but she spoke. "She yells at me, all the time," Lily said. "She says I'm annoying, that she doesn't love me, that she only acted nice so you'd marry her." Gabriel felt his throat tighten. "Keep going, honey. She punishes me, she locks me in the basement, in the dark, sometimes for 2 hours, sometimes 3. Lily trembled. "I'm scared down there. Daddy, really scared." Gabriel squeezed her hand. "I'm so sorry, honey. Keep going." "And she hits me, not on my face, just on my arms and my legs, so you won't see." Lily's voice cracked. "And she says if I tell you, You won't believe me that you love her, not me." Gabriel felt tears streaming down his face. "That's not true. Lily, I love you more than anything in the world. And I'm so sorry, so sorry. I didn't see this sooner." Lily was sobbing now, deep sobs that she'd been holding back for months, and everything was pouring out. "I was scared, Daddy, really scared. So I hid, in the closet, in the basement, under my bed, because when Brittany found me, it was worse." Gabriel hugged her and wept with her because he had failed. He had failed in the worst way possible, and his daughter had paid the price. "I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so sorry. This never should have happened. I should have protected you, and I failed." They stayed like that, embraced, crying for 10 minutes, until Gabriel heard something. The front door opening. Footsteps. Brittany was home. Gabriel pulled away from Lily, wiped his tears, and spoke. With a firm voice, "Lily, stay here in this room. Don't come out, no matter what you hear. I promise you're going to be safe. Understand?" Lily nodded. Gabriel hugged her once more. "Never again, honey, never again will you be afraid." And he left the room, closing the door behind him, and went downstairs. Brittany was in the kitchen, putting away groceries, humming a song, as if nothing was wrong, as if she weren't a monster. Gabriel walked into the kitchen with firm steps. Brittany heard him and turned. She smiled. "Honey, what are you doing home? Didn't you have that presentation at 2? Gabriel stared at her, and what she saw in his eyes made her step back. Pure rage. Cold, controlled, but devastating. "What did you do to my daughter?" Brittany blinked, trying to look confused. "What are you talking about?" "Don't act," Gabriel roared, and Brittany flinched. "I saw Lily in my closet, hiding, trembling, covered in bruises. So I'm going to ask you one more time. What did you do?" Brittany tried another tactic. "Honey, Gabriel, I'm sorry. Gabriel, I think you're misunderstanding. Lily falls a lot. She's clumsy. The bruises are lies." Gabriel moved toward her. "Lily told me everything. The punishments, the lockups, the beatings, the threats, everything." Brittany turned pale. She tried to deny it. "She's lying. She's a traumatized child and she makes things up." Gabriel laughed, but there was no humor, only disbelief. "She made up the bruises? She made up that she's afraid of you? She made up that she hasn't spoken in 4 months because you threatened her? What else did she make up? Brittany..." Brittany saw that her mask had completely fallen and decided to go with the truth, her twisted truth. "You want to know the truth? Fine. That kid is unbearable. She cries all the time. She drives me crazy, and someone had to discipline her because you don't. You're so busy with your self-made empire you left her with me. What did you expect to happen?" Gabriel moved closer, his voice dangerously low. "I expected you to take care of her, not torture her." "I didn't torture her. I just disciplined her. You locked her in a dark basement for hours, a 6-year-old girl. She needed to learn. You hit her. You left bruises. She deserved it. And..." Gabriel lost control. Get out of my house, now!" Brittany stared at him, in shock. "You can't. We're married. I don't care. I want you to pack your things and leave, now. And if you don't, I'm calling the police and pressing charges for child abuse. Everything." Brittany tried to soften her tone. "Gabriel, honey, we can talk about this. We can go to therapy. Maybe you should just go to Taste of Home and calm down." But Gabriel didn't let her finish. "There's no therapy that can cure what you are, a monster. And I swear I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you can never do this to another child." He grabbed his cell phone and dialed. Brittany asked, "Who are you calling?" Gabriel responded coldly, "The police." "No, Gabriel, please." But he was already speaking. "I need to report child abuse. My wife has been abusing my 6-year-old daughter. I need you to come to my address." And bring social services. Brittany tried to snatch the phone away. Gabriel pushed her back and kept talking. Address, name, details. And when he hung up, he looked at Brittany. They're coming. They're going to document everything. The bruises, Lily's testimony. And you're going to pay for every second of suffering you caused her. Brittany turned white. And then she did something predictable. She tried to run. She grabbed her purse and walked toward the door. But Gabriel blocked her. You're not going anywhere until the police get here. You can't hold me here. Watch me. And Gabriel stood in front of the door. Brittany tried to push him. He didn't move. She screamed, cried, threatened. Gabriel didn't respond. He just waited. 15 minutes later, the police arrived. 2 officers, Officer Morales and Officer Sanchez, entered the house. Gabriel greeted them and explained the situation. My daughter is upstairs. She's 6 years old. My wife has been abusing her. She has bruises. She was hiding in my closet because she was scared. The officers looked at each other, gravely. Brittany tried to intervene. Officers, this is a misunderstanding. My husband is exaggerating. We're a happy family. Officer Morales ignored her and spoke to Gabriel. Where's the girl? Upstairs, in my room. Gabriel led them upstairs. Lily was still there, sitting on the bed, trembling. When she saw the police officers, she got scared. Gabriel knelt down. Lily, honey, these officers are here to help you. They're going to ask questions. It's okay. You're safe. Officer Morales approached with a soft voice. Hi, Lily. My name is Officer Morales. Can you tell me what happened? Lily looked at her father, seeking permission. Gabriel nodded. You can tell them, honey, everything. And Lily spoke with a trembling voice, but she spoke. She told about the punishments, the lockups, the yelling, the beatings, everything. And the officers took notes, photographed the bruises, documented everything. Officer Morales called social services. A social worker arrived. Miss Patricia Ruiz, 48 years old. She interviewed Lily alone. She asked her specific questions. Lily answered everything, without fear, because her father had told her she was safe. Meanwhile, downstairs, Brittany was being questioned. She tried to lie. Lily makes things up. She's a child traumatized by her mother's death. The officers didn't believe her. We have evidence, ma'am. Bruises, testimony, and we're going to investigate. An hour later, Brittany Smith was arrested for child abuse, physical and psychological abuse. They slapped the cuffs on her, read her rights, and dragged her out of the house, screaming, "This is unfair. That little girl is a liar." Lily heard it all from upstairs and felt something she hadn't felt in months, relief. After the police left, Gabriel went up to her. He found Lily sitting on the bed, silent. He hugged her. "She's gone now, sweetheart." "She's never coming back?" Lily asked in a small voice. "Really? Really? I promise you." And Lily just broke down. She cried for a solid 20 minutes. Gabriel held her and cried with her because his daughter was finally safe and because he almost lost her because he'd been blind. The next day, Gabriel took Lily to the hospital. Dr. Michael Evans, pediatrician with 32 years of experience. He examined Lily from head to toe, and what he found alarmed him. Multiple bruises in different stages of healing, signs of severe psychological trauma, selective mutism caused by fear, mild malnutrition, a loss of 6 pounds in 8 months. He wrote every finding in the report. This is a clear case of systematic abuse. This child needs therapy, urgently, and medical follow-up, Gabriel asked. Will she recover? Physically, yes, with proper nutrition and care. The bruises will heal. The weight will come back. But emotionally, Dr. Evans shook his head. She's going to carry this trauma for years. She needs specialized therapy, a safe environment, and a lot of love. Gabriel nodded. Whatever it takes. Time, money. It doesn't matter. I just want my daughter to be okay. That same week, Gabriel hired the best child therapist in the city, Dr. Sarah Miller, specialized in trauma and selective mutism due to abuse. The first session was difficult. Lily walked in holding Gabriel's hand tightly. Dr. Miller knelt down. "Hi, Lily. This is a place where you can talk about what you feel. Without fear, no one is going to hurt you here." Lily looked at her with big, scared eyes, but something in the doctor's calm voice reassured her. And during that first session, Lily didn't talk much, but she drew dark houses, basements, small figures hidden away, and the doctor observed, took notes, understood. The weeks passed. Lily went to therapy 3 times a week, and slowly she started to open up, to talk, to process, to heal. The first 2 months were the hardest. Lily had nightmares. She'd wake up screaming. Gabriel would run to her room. He'd hug her. "It's over now, sweetheart. You're safe. I'm here." And little by little, the nightmares lessened. She was also afraid to be left alone, even to go to the bathroom. "Dad, don't go, please." Gabriel never left. He waited outside, because he understood. His daughter needed to know that she wasn't alone, ever again. But there were signs of progress. 6 weeks into therapy, Lily spoke at dinner, without Gabriel even asking. "Dad, today the teacher said my drawing was pretty." Gabriel smiled with tears in his eyes. "That's wonderful, honey. I can see it." Lily ran to her room, brought back the drawing, and it was different. No more dark boxes. It was a house with a dad and a little girl, and a bright yellow sun. Gabriel cried looking at that drawing, because it meant hope. 3 months in, Lily played with another girl in the park. Gabriel took her to the park every day after therapy, and that day a girl approached her. "Want to play?" Lily looked at Gabriel. He nodded. "You can, sweetheart." And Lily went shyly, but she went and she played for 20 minutes, and when she came back she was smiling, a small smile, but real. At 6 months, Lily regained her weight. From 37 pounds she went back to 44. Her cheeks filled out, her hair shone, the bruises disappeared completely. And although she was still scared sometimes, it was different, because now she knew that she was safe. Meanwhile, things were moving legally. Gabriel hired the best family lawyer, Mr. David Sullivan. He filed 3 lawsuits, annulment of the marriage due to fraud. Brittany had married Gabriel under false pretenses, permanent restraining order, criminal lawsuit for child abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, unlawful imprisonment. The evidence was overwhelming. Lily's testimony, photos of the bruises, medical report, testimony from the teacher, Carol Johnson, disturbing drawings. Brittany hired a public defender because Gabriel made sure she couldn't touch any joint assets. She tried to defend herself, claimed she was just disciplining a difficult child. The prosecutor laughed. "Mom, locking a 6-year-old girl in a dark basement for hours isn't discipline. It's torture." 2 months after the arrest, Brittany Smith pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child abuse. The sentence, 2 years in prison, lifetime ban from working with children, permanent restraining order against Lily and Gabriel, and a listing on the abuser registry. Gabriel didn't go to the sentencing, and he was at home with Lily because he had learned that revenge didn't matter. What mattered was being present for his daughter. But Lily asked, "Dad, is Brittany going to come back?" Gabriel hugged her. "Never, sweetheart. She's in jail, and when she gets out, she's forbidden from coming near you by law. If she tries, she goes back to jail." Lily exhaled, as if she'd been holding her breath. "Then I'm safe." Gabriel kissed her forehead. "You're very safe." Gabriel changed too. He made the hardest decision of his life. He sold 5 of his 15 Taste of Home restaurants, promoted his general manager to chief operating officer, and reduced his hours from 14 hours a day to 6, max, from home. His partners thought he was crazy. Gabriel, you just went through something rough, but you don't have to destroy your career over this. Gabriel looked at them. I'm not destroying my career. I'm saving my family. And if that means making less money, so be it. The rest of the time was for Lily. Absolutely for Lily. He took her to school. Every day. They had breakfast together. Pancakes, fruit, juice. And they talked about school, about her friends, about her fears, about everything. He picked her up every day, 2:30 p.m., and Lily would run to him, "Dad!" And she would tell him about her day, and Gabriel would listen to every word, as if it were the most important thing in the world, because it was. They did therapy together once a week, family therapy, where they processed, where Gabriel learned to be a better father, where Lily learned to trust again. And slowly, month by month, father and daughter reconnected. 1 year after the day Gabriel found Lily hiding in the closet, he organized something special. It was a Saturday. Lily was turning 7. Gabriel prepared a party. At home. Just close friends. 4 girls from her class. Princess decorations, chocolate cakes, games, laughter. And Lily was playing with her friends, smiling, laughing, like a normal 7-year-old girl. Gabriel watched her from the kitchen, with tears in his eyes, because a year ago he didn't know if he'd see his daughter smile again, and now he was seeing her be happy, be a child. Dr. Vargas was there too, as a guest. She approached Gabriel. "Look at her, Gabriel. She's come such an incredible way." Gabriel nodded slowly. "She still has tough days. She will have them. Trauma doesn't just disappear, but she's healing. She has tools. She has support. And she has a father who is present. That makes all the difference." Gabriel asked something that had been gnawing at him. "Will she ever forgive me for not seeing it sooner?" The doctor smiled gently. "Gabriel, she already has forgiven you. Children are resilient, and she knows you saved her. That's what really matters." That night, after all the other little girls had gone home, Gabriel tucked Lily into bed. He read her a story. Lily drifted off to sleep with a little smile on her face. Gabriel turned off the light, but just as he was about to leave, Lily spoke, her voice sleepy and small. "I love you, Daddy. Thank you for saving me." Gabriel felt his throat tighten, hard. "I love you more, sweetheart, and I'm always going to protect you. Always. Now let me ask you something. How many kids do you know who have suddenly changed their behavior, who have become quiet, frightened, and nobody did anything because they assumed it was just a phase, or because they didn't want to get involved? This story is a stark reminder. Children can't defend themselves, especially when the abuser is someone they're supposed to trust. They depend on adults to see, to listen, to act. And if you see something, say something, because the difference between suffering and salvation can be just one question, one phone call, one adult who cares enough to take action. Lily was lucky. Gabriel found out in time, but thousands of children are suffering right now, hidden in closets, silenced by fear, with adults who don't see or don't want to see. The muteness, the hiding, the disturbing drawings, the sudden changes in behavior, these are all signs, and if you ignore them, the consequences can be devastating. So the next time you see a child who's changed, who's quieter, more scared, ask, investigate. Don't just assume it's a phase, because it could be that that child is begging for help, without words, hoping that someone, anyone, will see. Lily is 7 years old now. She goes to therapy once a week. She has friends. She plays. She laughs. She draws flowers again. She talks without fear. She eats without anxiety. She sleeps without nightmares. Most nights. And every night when Gabriel says goodnight, Lily says, "I love you, Daddy. Don't go." And Gabriel responds, "Never, my love. I'm right here. Always." Because Gabriel learned the hardest lesson of all, that there's no job, no money, nothing more important than protecting the vulnerable, especially when they're yours, and especially when they depend on you to survive. And Brittany, she's serving her sentence in a state penitentiary, all alone. No visitors, because nobody wants to be around someone who tortures children, not even other prisoners. And when she gets out, in 1 year, she'll be released into a world where her name is on a registry of abusers, where she can't work with children, where she's forbidden from going anywhere near Lily forever. And Lily is healing, with therapy, with love, with a father who is finally present, who learned, who changed, who prioritizes what is right. And even though the trauma will never completely disappear, Lily has something now that she didn't have a year ago: hope, safety, and the certainty that her father loves her, that he protects her, and that she will never be alone again. That is the story of Lily and of Gabriel, and of how a little girl hidden in a closet, trembling with fear, was saved by a father who finally opened his eyes and saw and acted and changed everything forever.